back to her own bed. She fixes her hair, puts a pacifier in her mouth, tucks herself in with the blanket, and goes to sleep. Bria has been weaned off her pacifier, and this is not the first time she's done this. Now her parents have finally caught her red-handed.
Oh, that is so funny. She's busted.
She didn't wake up the baby
Well,
either.
the baby had a bottle, so that was the only reason why she got away with it.
She's going to be trouble, I think,
I
later on in
think
life.
so, too.
Keep an eye on that one. All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye on the weather this evening. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, crews in the city of Beloit are repairing damage caused by last night's severe storms ahead of this other round coming our way tonight.
The retired priest who is accused of sexually abusing a child more than 100 times takes the stand. We'll hear what he has to say in his own defense.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
And thanks for staying with News 3 Now. Heavy rain throughout most of last night, continuing into today, causing some concerns in southern Wisconsin.
We have team coverage of the flooding tonight. Adam Duxter is in Rock County and Dave Caulfield is in Grant County. But let's begin with meteorologist Gary Canalti on the weather patio. Gary?
Yeah, lots to talk about. Not only do we have a flooding threat, but we also have a severe weather threat. There's a tornado watch in effect for the western third of our viewing area, west of Platteville to Lone Rock to Wisconsin Dells line until 10 p.m. tonight. A flash flood watch is in effect for our entire viewing area. Areas west of Lone Rock, that watch runs until 1 a.m. tomorrow morning. For areas east of there, including Madison, it's until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. To our west, there are severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings not far to the west of the Mississippi River in eastern Iowa. Those storms are tracking mainly toward the north-northeast, but the whole area is moving off toward the east. So Crawford and Grant County should be prepared for these storms within the next hour or so. And it's part of a couple of lines of thunderstorms that are heading northeastward towards southern Wisconsin. So tornado and severe thunderstorm watches are in effect out to our west. We have a slight risk of severe thunderstorms for tonight for all of southern Wisconsin. Look at the difference in temperatures. Around 80 near Dubuque, Iowa and Platteville, only lower 60s up to the north. So about a 20-degree temperature spread with dew point temperatures in the lower to middle 70s. Plenty of fuel for thunderstorm activity. Those winds shift to the south in the warm air sector just west of the Mississippi River where those storms are occurring. So expect off and on thunderstorms overnight. Some of those could have high winds, hail, and heavy rainfall. Then tomorrow will turn partly sunny, breezy, and less humid with a high temperature of 72. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thanks. Lots going on there. And crews in the city of Beloit are working to make repairs from last night's storms ahead of what's set to happen tonight.
Last night, the city had 19 reports of flooding, but one area along the Rock River is now a major concern. That's where we find Rock County reporter Adam Duxter with the latest on the repair efforts. Adam?
Well, Susan and Eric, I'm on Bluff Street in the city of Beloit, where crews of Beloit Public Works have been working since late this morning to repair a side of the riverbank that was washed away during last night's heavy storms. And with more rain on the way and heavy storms expected for tonight, they've been working all throughout the day, moving quickly by filling the hole with boulders and rerouting gas that runs through the area. City Manager Lori Curtis Luther says they'll continue to watch for issues throughout the city during tonight's storms.
Most people who are local to Beloit know that there are a couple of areas where we do have a tendency to have some flash flooding. We are monitoring those. Staff has been monitoring the entire city overnight, and we will continue to do so. We will close streets if it's necessary.
Beloit Public Works say they're going to continue filling this hole until the weather won't allow it. But one thing they're stressing, as well as this road is closed and people should avoid the area, they do say tonight no one that lives in this area is in any immediate danger. But they are going to continue filling this hole. They're hoping they can beat the weather tonight and work a little bit more in the sunny days ahead.
All right, Adam Duxter live in Beloit. Adam, thank you.
Now, southwestern Wisconsin has been hit hard by recent heavy rains and flooding.
Meteorologist Dave Caulfield is live tonight in Grant County with more on how Mother Nature is making life difficult for residents there. Dave?
Eric and Susan, dry weather really hasn't been a part of the forecast for Grant County throughout this week. More than 6 inches of rain reported across Grant County just over the last 3 days alone. And we actually just talked to a viewer who lives close to Cassville saying that she received about 9.5 inches of rain in just last night's rain. So Obviously, flooding is still ongoing in portions of the county because of that heavy rain, and that has some folks concerned. For a community that depends on agriculture, there is concern that this heavy rain is arriving at the worst possible time because local farmers are supposed to start the corn silage process in the next week to week and a half, but the recent flooding might prevent farmers from getting out in the fields. Sean Hines lives on a farm in B-Town, in between Lancaster and Cassville. Her morning was turned upside down by the heavy rain and flooding.
By this morning, we had quite a bit of rain, and the school bus had to take a detour to make it to our house, and my boyfriend had to take a different way to work because he couldn't get to work the way he normally goes because there was water over the road.
Hines also said that a barn on her farm lost its roof earlier this week from a round of severe weather that rolled through Grant County, and more rain could be on the way, and it's already forming to our north here. You can see those ominous looking clouds behind me in Lancaster. There is a tornado watch and a flash flood watch for Grant County that goes until later tonight. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, meteorologist Dave Caulfield in Grant County. Dave, thank you. And the National Weather Service predicting that the Pecatonica River in Darlington will reach 14.9 feet on Friday morning. They say that Darlington will then be experiencing some moderate flooding, and officials say they expect they will have to close the Main Street Bridge there in Darlington. And if that bridge is closed, they say school will also be closed in Darlington.
Heavy rain closed roads in parts of northeastern Wisconsin and forced evacuations in Green Bay. Forecasters say more downpours and damaging winds are expected through Thursday. Emergency management officials advised people not to stay in their homes if water has compromised the house or touched the furnace or any part of the electrical system. City inspectors plan to canvass flooded neighborhoods after the water has receded to ensure that structures are safe to be occupied. Father William Nolan is taking the stand on the fourth day of his trial. He's been on the stand for several hours, facing 5 charges of sexual assault, accused of sexually abusing a boy more than 100 times. Earlier, we heard from Nolan's longtime doctor, who says the retired priest has multiple visible scars on his body, including a long scar on his chest from heart surgery at age 26 that Nolan revealed in court. A detective testified earlier the accuser could not recollect any birthmarks or any visible markings on Nolan's body. Nolan says nothing ever happened between the two.
Did you feel as though this was a nightmare coming true?
Absolutely.
Mr. Nolan, were you thinking clearly at that point?
No.
What was going through your mind?
How this is going to affect my vocation and my life.
The judge says closing arguments in this case will likely happen tomorrow.
Police arrested a Reedsburg woman Saturday night on suspicion of possession with intent to deliver meth. Reedsburg police executed a search warrant for 56-year-old Jill Graham's residence. Authorities say they found methamphetamine, oxycodone, marijuana, and drug paraphernalia. She's facing multiple charges.
New court documents are shedding light on what led the former Madison School and Community Recreation Executive Director to be charged with 12 counts of possession of child porn.
The district tells us that as of today, 44-year-old Jacob Tissue of McFarland is no longer employed with them. Madeline O'Neill back from Tissue's court appearance today with the very latest. Maddie?
Well, Eric and Susan, Tissue is out on signature bond after today's proceedings, not allowed to have unsupervised contact with juveniles other than his own children. Now, according to the criminal complaint we got today, detectives searched hundreds of what they determined to be his emails, finding 48 child erotica images and 12 images meeting the Wisconsin law's definition of child pornography. Now, those showed girls believed to be 13 years old or younger with adult men. The original tip came to them from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, submitted by an internet service provider. McFarland detectives say they can't comment on this specific case, but say cyber tips like this are a great starting point for an investigation.
But in many cases, we probably wouldn't be aware of that activity were it not for the cyber tip. So, in McFarland, we get a handful of cyber tips a year, but the Department of Justice processes hundreds or thousands in a year, perhaps.
Court documents show Tissue explained to detectives it started with searching for images of young women in bikinis and escalated from there. He told authorities he estimates he has emailed less than 100 images to himself involving underage females since he started doing so about 2 years ago. Tissue is due back in court at the end of the month. Now, the minimum prison sentence, if he's found guilty, is 3 years, coming from Wisconsin law. Tissue's attorney says he's against, and now he wasn't available for an on-camera interview today, but we'll hear more from him tonight at 6, along with more on this story.
All right, Madeline O'Neill reporting. Maddie, thank you.
You're welcome.
A guilty plea is entered for a Toma man who was facing a reckless homicide charge in the death of his 3-month-old son. 30-year-old Troy Tralmer pled guilty to a felony charge of neglecting a child. The first-degree reckless homicide charge was dismissed. In 2015, initial reports showed the child sustained a skull fracture along with other injuries. Sentencing is scheduled for December.
The 22-year-old Wisconsin man charged in a hit and run that killed 3 Girl Scouts and a mother back in November has pleaded not guilty. Colton True is charged with 11 counts related to that crash. At a motion hearing today, the judge allowed evidence from an incident in Rusk County, which happened before the Lake Hallie crash, to be used in the Chippewa County case. His jury trial is set to start in late January.
The National Transportation Safety Board says all 6 crew members were asleep when a fire broke out on a scuba diving boat off the coast of California, killing 34 people. The NTSB released a 2-page preliminary report today. Authorities have said they were investigating if there was a night watchman on duty at the time. The report comes 1 day after divers recovered the remains of the last missing victim, one of the dozens who were trapped below deck. The FBI, the Coast Guard, and the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles are conducting a criminal investigation.
The suspect in the mass shooting in El Paso has been indicted on a capital murder charge. 21-year-old Patrick Crusius charged in the August 3rd mass shooting that left 22 dead. He is jailed without bond. El Paso prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. Authorities say Crusius confessed to targeting Mexicans in the shooting at that busy Walmart and believe he posted a racist anti-immigrant screed online shortly before opening fire. Federal authorities plan to bring separate capital murder charges against the suspect. The Department of Justice is investigating the case as an act of domestic terrorism and a hate crime.
A husband and wife wanted for murder who escaped custody last month have been caught. Blaine and Susan Barksdale were wanted for allegedly killing a man in Tucson before setting fire to his home in April. They were arrested in New York a few weeks later, but on August 26th, the couple was being extradited to Arizona when they escaped a prison van by overpowering their guards in Blanding, Utah. The couple will go in front of a judge later today.
Pharmacists are calling on state lawmakers to hold pharmacy benefit managers accountable and lower prescription drug prices. Members of the Wisconsin Pharmacy Patient Protection Coalition introduced 2 bills that would establish price transparency requirements and end the practice of forcing pharmacists to agree to gag clauses. Those provisions prohibit pharmacists from telling customers when they can save money by paying the pharmacy's lower cash price instead of the price negotiated by their insurance company. The coalition says middlemen have been manipulating the system instead of saving patients money as they were originally intended to do.
For years, pharmacists have been forced to agree to unfair contractual gag clauses that keep them from sharing prescription cost details with patients and ultimately leave patients in the dark.
The coalition presented a 20-foot-long petition containing 11,000 signatures to state lawmakers today. More to come on News 3 Now at 5. Up next, our Coats for Kids campaign is underway. How important your donations are for area families.
And then coming up tonight at 6, there is a new tip line for high school students at Verona High School and parents to report crime. We'll tell you how it works.
And a quick check of the numbers on Wall Street in Thursday trading. The Dow up 45, the Nasdaq added 25, while the S&P 500 gained almost 9. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're up to 319 coats collected for our annual Coats for Kids drive. Those will all go to people right here in our community who need help staying warm this winter.
Danica Lewis is here now with more on how your donation can really make an impact. Danica?
We have done this for many, many years, folks, but we just wanted to explain how important this service is for families, particularly ahead of winter. And there may be no better pay-it-forward model than DeCarla Moore.
Do some time up here and share my love up here.
A mother's instinct.
So I thought, what the heck, go volunteer.
Is to take care of the people around her.
I love coming in and helping.
So is the case.
I love it.
For DeCarla Moore.
As long as my one son has something Spider-Man or Batman, it's fine.
That son, one of 3, 2 boys, 1 girl.
She likes to come with me and do her own little girl shopping over there, so.
And a mom who knows what it's like to need someone to take care of her every once in a while.
The fact that this is the free clothing place drew me in. Yes, drew me in.
To be able to come in here and watch people shop and get what they need for free, it warms my heart. It warms my heart.
Sometimes that warmth just isn't enough. Another area where the Community Action Coalition can help. This space, filled with clothes for all seasons, will soon have racks of coats, boots, gloves, hats, whatever families need for winter.
I know what it's like to need some help.
It's why lead volunteer Amber Kasmerick knows this place is special.
There are a lot of centers that you can go to, yes, but we tuck a little love inside each pocket of every coat or anything that goes out of here. Every bag has a little bit of love inside of it, too.
So I'm totally eyeballing my little boy some stuff.
With love,
people stand in that line. Now I'm gonna cry.
Comes protection.
No matter how cold it is outside or what, like, their goal is to get a coat. You know what I'm saying? And that's all they care about, getting that coat for their kid.
Moms will do anything to take care of their family, but we can all do something to take care of each other.
It makes their whole day. I've witnessed it myself. It makes their whole day.
So if you are interested in helping people like DeCarla and her 3 kids, you can drop off any new, outgrown, or lightly worn winter coats, as well as all of those cold weather accessories at any area Clinky Cleaners or YMCA in the Dane County area. That ends, though, on October 5th.
All right, good to know. Thank you, Danica.
Sure thing.
All right, big story tonight. Could be severe weather. Let's get the latest from Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalpi. Gary?
Severe weather and flooding concerns. We have an alert day in the forecast for tonight for strong to severe thunderstorms with high winds, hail, and heavy rain. All possibilities. A tornado watch is already in effect until 10 p.m. west of a Platteville to Lone Rock to Wisconsin Dells line. A flash flood watch in effect for all of southern Wisconsin until 1 a.m. for areas west of a Platteville to Lone Rock to Camp Douglas line. East of there, including Madison, runs until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. What's happening is we've had cloud cover keeping our temperatures cool for much of the day, but notice how skies have started to clear out over southwestern Wisconsin, and it's been sunny across parts of Iowa and Illinois, allowing thunderstorms to really develop very rapidly. Look at the difference in temperatures. Low to mid 60s to our north and east, lower 80s to our south and west. About a 20-degree temperature spread across our viewing area with dew point temperatures that are now in the middle 70s. Very unstable air across parts of eastern Iowa and southwestern Wisconsin. And notice the wind shift from the east to the south here, and this is feeding into these thunderstorms right along a line here. A lot of wind shear because the winds aloft are from the southwest. These are from the southeast in the lower levels of the atmosphere. That's what gets these thunderstorms to rotate and brings the tornado potential. In fact, there are severe thunderstorm warnings out to the west over parts of Alameda County and down in south and west of Grant County. These storms are heading to the north-northeast. In fact, we'll put the radar into motion, and you can see the general movement. They're not a solid line of storms. They're these clusters of storms that bring a higher severe weather potential. A little wider radar perspective also shows more thunderstorms developing behind that. So severe tornado watch in effect until 10 p.m. here, and a severe thunderstorm watch farther to the south. Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe thunderstorms over all of southern Wisconsin. The other problem is heavy rain. This is over the last 4 days how much rain has fallen. You can see some areas that may have picked up 2 to 5 inches of rain in spots, especially down toward the Illinois state line. And the computer model forecasts show another ½ inch to an inch generally, but there'll be some amounts in excess of 2 inches in some of the heavier thunderstorms. So if those fall over the areas that have already seen heavy rain, you have the stage set for more widespread flooding. Live view from the WISC Skycam looking out toward the west. Still mostly cloudy here, and that's keeping temperatures down a bit. Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison also showing a gray overcast. As we check out the almanac for Madison, the high's only reached 72 so far after starting out at 60, but we're at that high for the day of 72. Winds are out of the east-southeast at 13 miles per hour, and our dew point temperature is high at 68 degrees. Now, as we take a look at the difference in temperatures, Right now, 50 in Superior, 90 in Moline, Illinois. That's a 40-degree temperature spread over about the distance of our state. And of course, down to the south with those dew point temperatures in the low to mid 70s, that's what's feeding up into this thunderstorm area, moving into Iowa and Minnesota and heading into southwestern Wisconsin. That's why we have to keep an eye out for the potential for severe weather as well as flooding. So again, tornado watch in effect until 10 p.m. west of Platteville to Lone Rock to Wisconsin Dells line. West of there's a flash flood watch in effect until 1 a.m. tomorrow morning and a flash flood watch for the Madison area until 7 a.m. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms. Some of those will be severe with high winds, hail, and heavy rainfall. Those will end late tonight with a low of 62. Tomorrow will turn partly sunny, breezy, and less humid. High temperature at 72 degrees. As we look at future track, watch those storms come in from the west, but eventually they'll clear out later on tonight as drier air starts to sweep in from the southwest. Lows drop into the lower 60s. Tomorrow, partly sunny skies, highs in the lower 70s. Tomorrow night will clear out a little bit, allowing temperatures to drop into the lower 50s. And then Saturday should be a nice day with highs in the mid to upper 70s. There'll be a chance of a shower or thunderstorm Saturday night into Sunday morning. Again, rainfall amounts generally a ½ inch to an inch. Some areas over 2 inches in the heavier thunderstorms. 7 to 10 day forecast. Those thunderstorm chances Saturday night into Sunday morning will lead to warmer and more humid air for much of next week. High temperatures will generally be in the lower 80s before we cool off at the end of the week after some thunderstorms Thursday night into Friday. As we take a look at first alert traffic, there's the view on the Beltline at Park Street. This time it's the westbound direction that's very slow. You can see stop and go traffic there. We're seeing, it looks like an accident must have just popped up somewhere around Fish Hatchery Road. So we have delays eastbound from Monona Drive back to around Fish Hatchery Road, westbound from about Fish Hatchery Road back toward John Nolan Drive. Right now, a 20-minute commute on the eastbound direction and an 18-minute commute on the westbound direction on the Beltline, but those numbers will go up certainly with an accident there. Right now, a half hour in your trip from I-3990 from the Beltline down to Janesville. It's 19 minutes out to Sauk City on US 12 and almost 20 minutes to Sun Prairie on US 151. That's your News 3 Now First Alert traffic.
All right, thanks, Gary.
Still ahead on News 3 Now at 5. Round 3 for the Democratic candidates for president. Why you won't see as many candidates in this debate. That story next. Tonight, Democrats duel for a third time in the presidential primary cycle.
But this time, the candidates are meeting in a single debate instead of splitting it over 2 nights. Only 10 candidates made the cut for the 3-hour debate and are preparing to tackle issues from immigration to gun control. Facing off for the first time, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, who has been gaining on frontrunner Joe Biden. To qualify for a spot inside on the debate stage this time, the candidates faced tougher rules. They had to have at least 2% standing in several polls and a minimum of 130,000 campaign donors.
When it comes to the debate process, and if you look at previous cycles, one thing has been very clear is you have to show progress in your campaign in order to move forward.
President Trump is making his presence felt in Houston tonight. His campaign is flying banners around the city and took out newspaper ads blasting some of the Democratic candidates.
A new state-of-the-art facility outside the nation's capital is helping train some of the most important members of the United States Secret Service. And the Secret Service cut the ribbon on a new $10 million training complex in Laurel, Maryland, with larger canine kennels, a veterinary office, and laundry room, as well as spaces modeled after the White House. Most of the canines in the Secret Service are Belgian Malinois or German Shepherds. Now they got a new place to call home. Another check of your forecasts in just a moment.
Watching a chance for severe weather today.
Yeah, well, seeing it just out to the west of us. So if you're in Crawford and Grant counties, be prepared. Already starting to see some storms move in around Prairie du Chien. Right now, the only warning is in Delaware County over east central Iowa, and that is probably going to expire according to the National Weather Service in Davenport. But you can see these storms as they track off toward the The general area is toward the east, but the individual cells are moving toward the northeast. So again, Crawford and Grant County, be prepared for these storms over the next couple of hours, then eventually heading toward Madison by around mid to late evening.
All right, we'll be back with more updates in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. Stay tuned for the CBS Evening News.